Hey loves, I'm Carmen, owner of Luminosity Acne Skincare, and in today's acne video, we are in my mom's kitchen because we are gonna make our annual traditional Muraturi, which is a Romanian recipe of fermented vegetables. Now, if you don't know, ferments are basically filled with beneficial bacteria, which in turn makes them a probiotic. And if you also don't know, when you're acne prone, it's important to have a mix of good bacteria in your system because there's been studies in the past done that show that if you have a mix of good and bad bacteria, that means that you're gonna have more good skin days because the good bacteria is gonna help counterbalance the bad bacteria that can lead to worse acne. Now, when it comes to getting probiotics in your body, you can go the general route, which most people do, which is to buy a probiotic supplement, but those can get quite costly, especially if you're looking for some of the best quality ones on the market. Another alternative, which is typically what I like to do most of the time, is to just make fermented vegetables. So fermenting your own vegetables is really easy. Basically, all you need are the vegetables, un-iodized salt, unchlorinated water, and sterilized jars. It's honestly so easy, but at first it can seem quite intimidating. Now, it's really important when you're making fermented vegetables to always use un-iodized salt or unrefined salt. And the reason for that, well, there's two reasons. One is that if you get an overabundance of iodine and you're acne prone, you're basically gonna get more severe acne because excess iodine is irritating to acne prone skin. The other option, or not option, but reason, is because iodine actually inhibits the beneficial bacteria from growing in the ferment, and it's this beneficial bacteria that helps preserve the vegetables and then of course act as a probiotic for your body. So always use a good quality unrefined salt. And when I get to the recipe, I'll show you the one that we're using today. Okay, so I'm here in my mom's kitchen with my mom Sylvia and my sister-in-law Emily and her little soon-to-be baby. The baby. And we're just prepping all of the vegetables. Once we get them cut nice, I'll go around and show you guys all of the ingredients that we're using today. So for the ingredients, we have the optional grape leaves, dill, cauliflower, celery, bay leaves, carrots, onions, and then green and red cabbage, green tomatoes, garlic, and then unrefined un-iodized salt, and this is one of my favorite brands that I use. This one is great if you're acne prone. And then we also have all of our sterilized jars. When you're doing ferments, it's really important to have sterilized jars because again, you want to give the best chance for the good bacteria to take over. Oh, and I also want to say that with the ingredients, there's really no measurements except for the brine, which we'll be doing with the salt. All of the vegetables you can really add however much you want. Okay, so we're pretty much ready to go. At this point, all you have to do is just stuff the jars with vegetables and the herbs. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You just add what you want to the jar and then you top it off with the brine. So we're gonna go ahead and get going. So this is my jar right now. I'm still working on it. This is Emily's 2 jars, and these are looking so pretty. This is one of my favorite kitchen projects that we get together and do. And then my mom is just getting started on hers. There's always accidents in the kitchen. Non-finger losing accidents. Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, so here is the finished product. Well, we still have to put the brine on it, but otherwise this is pretty much how it's going to look. So for the brine, you need 40 grams of salt per liter of water. And we're doing 6 liters, so we're gonna do 240 grams of salt. And then once you have your salt with the water, you just mix it until the salt dissolves. Now the nice thing with this recipe is that you don't have to boil the water with the salt. You can just do it cold, and you just basically have to stir for a while, and that's it. Okay, so the last step, well, as far as assembling, is just ladling in the brine. And you basically want to ladle it in until it covers the top of it. And then one thing I didn't mention earlier is that it's a good idea to add like either a grape leaf or a cabbage leaf on top, just to kind of keep all the little bits submerged under the brine. So that is what Emily is doing now. I'm back home now to finish these up, and what you want to do is add a flat mason jar lid, and then on top of that you want to add the ring lid on. Now it's important to keep this ring lid loose because what's going to happen as the vegetables ferment is that they are going to create gas bubbles, and you need to allow these gas bubbles to safely escape out of the jar, or else pressure will build up and your jars can break. It's also important to cover your jars with the lid because you really don't want to allow oxygen into the vegetables, because that can create an environment where bad bacteria and mold can thrive. Once your lids are on, you basically just store these on the kitchen counter for roughly a week and just let them ferment. Once the fermentation process is done, you're just going to move them into the refrigerator where you can keep them in there for long term. I've had ferments in my fridge for like 6 months, sometimes even longer, and they still do great because they are naturally preserved by the beneficial bacteria that you allow to thrive inside of the brine. So basically, don't be afraid of having ferments in your fridge long term, because it's totally fine as long as they smell good and there's no visible mold on top. I know that if you're new to ferments, it can seem kind of overwhelming or just scary, especially for how long you can keep them in your fridge, being that it is a homemade product. But trust me, it's definitely safe. So that's it for this video. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you want to get the full recipe, which it is my mom's secret recipe for traditionally fermented muraturi, just check the description box below this video because I will have it all written out for you guys. Please subscribe to this channel for more acne related videos, and I'll see you in my next one.